I'm in a mode. What does that mean? That means I'm in a mode. I'm in a big mode. What's that mode mean? Well, I'm tired of guys like Mark Jackson, Anderson Cooper. I mean, serious. I'm actually tired of the GM of the Colts, Chris Ballard, and his minions. The Colts don't have any, none, zero, zip primetime games. And that's another reflection on a six-year regime that just gets bouquets and flowers thrown to them by all the little clowns around here. I'm not happy about it living in India. Like, look, in Indianapolis, you want a couple of things. One, you want your football team to be good because we don't have a basketball team that's even close. I'll get into that in a minute. We don't have a baseball team. Your football team's got to be good. Indiana's going to be Indiana. Yeah, hip thrust the like button. Don't even start with me, ladies and gentlemen. So we got to have the Colts be good, and we got a 6-year guy. Yes, right, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, now 7-year guy who's in charge, and we don't even have a damn home playoff game, not one. A division title, not one. And the schedule comes out, and guess what? I don't know. Let me look. No home primetime games. Like, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? It's ridiculous. So the schedule gets released, and I'm all for it. I am. I'm not going to lie. I think it's great. For Colts fans, it is must-win game one. You can't keep losing to the Jags. You cannot. You cannot. You can't, and it's week one. You can't do it. I'm sorry. And I'm going to go through some over-unders here that I'm not exactly happy about, but I also got to get into a couple things. Let's go to Mark Jackson. So Mark Jackson, it's not exactly like this guy's a genius. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not exactly like we're asking this guy to do anything other than know the NBA. I mean, seriously, are we asking him to do anything other than know the NBA? No, we're not. Of course we're not. You know, we're not asking you to split the atom. You were the fake preacher that got with, I don't know what happened with all the stuff at Golden State. They got tired of you because you're a preachy guy that didn't, apparently, I don't know, but it seems like, according to the media, I'm going Pat McAfee, live up to your word as a preacher. And now all of a sudden, you don't even know the NBA well enough to put Nikola Jokic in your top 5. Now, normally I don't get into these things, but I think it's inherent racism. I do. I think what you saw out of Kendrick Perkins is exactly what you saw out of this guy right here, Mark Jackson, just in reverse. He was not going to put a white guy on his ballot. I mean, you can argue with me all you'd like, but Gilgeous-Alexander, Donovan Mitchell as MVP over Nikola Jokic, he apologized, said he forgot, and many, including my friend Mark Boyle, actually bought it. I'm not buying none of it. He did what he did. His fellas gave him props, dapped him up, said, screw the white guy, that kind of thing. We all know. I mean, look, I deal in the real world. I do. I'm sorry. I deal in the real world. I know how the real world works. The real world doesn't worry, in Mark Jackson's case, about what a guy like me says or what anybody in the media says. They worry about what their guy said. People around it, Mark, that was good, man. I see what you did. Well, you know, I apologize. I told him. I mean, I could tell you the real words, but the real words would not be allowed on television that white people get called in situations. I'm not going to get into that. But the truth of the matter is, we're asking you to do one thing. We are. I mean, we're not asking you. We don't care about your business interests, saving the world. You're not going to cure cancer. We're not asking you to split the atom, although somebody here at Harvard was doing that in class. We found out last night. All we ask you to do is know the NBA a little bit. That's it. And you're too stupid. I mean, seriously. I mean, don't tell me you forgot. You didn't forget. I don't think you're that stupid. I think you're just racist. That's what I think it was. I do. I'm sorry. I think it was. I think it was a response. And people can say what they'd like. Well, he apologized. My friend Mark Boyle said, yeah, okay. But I live in the real world. And the real world is not, hey, I apologize. The real world is not fans saying, Mark, you're stupid. The real world is the phone calls, the texts you got. Man, I like what you did there. MJ or whatever they call him. Don't even try me. And by the way, Jokic last night, if he's not the MVP or not, I don't know if he should be the MVP, but if he's not in the top 5 of the MVP, then the NBA is one hell of a league. I mean, one hell of a league, 125 to 120. And Jokic just said, screw it. He averaged 34.5 and a triple-double against the number 1 pick in the draft, DeAndre Ayton, against the guy that you all tell me is so great. He's a jump shooter, Alex English. Oh, wait a second. No, Kevin Durant. You all tell me these guys are great, but I ain't buying it. I'm sorry. I'm just not buying it. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it for a second. You guys, look, there have always been great scorers. I use Alex English because Alex English, George Gervin, these guys were always at the top of the list in the NBA, and that's all Kevin Durant is. He's nothing else. I mean, seriously, that's all he is. The only difference is George Gervin never joined a team that won a title. And if you don't know the name George Gervin, I can figure it out. But anyway, Alex English was a guy that averaged about 25 every time he played in a basketball game. And sometimes we go get 35, sometimes go get 45. So he averaged about 30. You tell me the difference between that and KD, Kevin Durant. And I will sit here and I will listen because I am not buying it. I am not buying it. See, I'm going to go back to Mark Jackson for a second. If you're a preacher like our resident preacher in the YouTube chat, Van Pastor Man, I live up to my word as a preacher. I don't say anything. That's right. That's right. I mean, I'm just telling you. You know, when you don't live up to your word and then you're full of crap and then you're trying to throw, it's just garbage and I don't want to hear it. Dan, age and injury may have caught up to Durant. Isn't that interesting? Because I think of Durant as a young guy, but you're right. See, I think of Steph Curry as a young guy, but he's 35. Now, I do think of LeBron James as a little bit older. I do. I think of LeBron James. Okay, now this is a guy that's got some ass to him. This is a guy that's got some age to him, right? I don't know if you guys saw this, and I'm going to get into the Knicks here in a second, but I don't know if you saw this. But this is truly amazing. And by the way, the great Benetti joins us coming up in 15 minutes. Did you guys see this? Did you actually see what happened here? Now, I don't understand all the particulars. Well, let me get to the Celtics and the Sixers. The Celtics did what the Celtics needed to do. Jason Tatum broke out of his slump, and the Sixers, frankly, came back to earth a little bit. If you were going to say to me, Dan, the NBA is fixed, I would argue. I would always argue. But I got to tell you, I think everybody and their mother knew that the Celtics were going to win that game. And frankly, I think everybody and their mother knew that the Sixers couldn't keep playing as well as they're playing. Now you got a game 7. And now you got some sexy.
Hey, thanks for watching Don't At Me with me, Dan Dakich. Make sure to like, subscribe, or click the notification bell for more of my beautiful face. Check out my full show to my right, or watch this other video. See ya.